Hi guys, I know it's been a while and I hope you're all doing okay out there. So today I'm going to teach you how to solve the Pyraminx, this weird looking cube, tetrahedron. So I've divided this entire video into chapters so it'll be easier to skip to specific sections of the video. If you've been really confused by how to solve this cube, don't worry because I've explained in detail how to solve it. Good luck solving it and I hope you enjoy the video. So before we figure out how to solve this, let's first understand it. Um, I don't want to dismantle this, so I've brought my older version of the Pyraminx. Now let's just break this down and see how it works. This might give us a better understanding of the Pyraminx and help us solve it. Okay. I'd recommend that you don't do this with your cube. This is a really old one and I think it's not working anymore because I've done this so many times. But yeah. Okay, so I've broken this down, and as you can see, these pieces that I've pulled out are these, and they act as edge pieces. They move around like this, and they're basically edge pieces. They have two colors, and they have these thingies which you find in 3x3 edge pieces. And now, probably the most surprising part of it, these parts, which are the corners of each side, actually act as centers. You rotate them around and this just stay in their place. So this is actually why they're called false centers or false corners. I'm not sure which they're called. False centers, yeah. And this is quite important because this can actually help us solve the cube very well. Now, let's assume the cube was jumbled. Now I can't actually jumble the edges as well. Now you can clearly see why you can't solve a purple side on any side you want, because the purple side will have to be here. Now let's assume we try to solve purple on this side. We won't be able to align all these three as blue, right? We put these two, but there is no blue on this. So no matter what we do, we won't be able to solve purple on this side. We can only do it here, where all three match. The edge pieces can move around, so that's not a problem. So this is actually the first step in solving the Pyraminx. We need to actually locate which side we can solve the first side on. Okay, so enough of how it works. Let's get to how to solve this. Okay, so I've jumbled the cube. Now let's go over how to solve this. Yeah, so the first thing we do is align these corners. And this shouldn't be too difficult since you just have to match this top color to the bottom color. And that doesn't really require any explanation. You just twist them. And you do it for all four false centers. There. So that's the first step. Now the second step, as I mentioned before, I called it the first step, but it's the second step, is locating which side we need to solve the first side on, if that makes sense. Now I'm going to pick the blue side as my first side because that color really stands out. So we need to find which side we can solve that on. As I mentioned before, we can't do it on just any side. Now we can do this in two ways. The first one is where we find three false centers which all have blue in them. That way the coinciding side will have blue on it. Or we can find one corner that does not have blue. That way we will know that the other three definitely have blue since there's only four corners. So the second one is much easier since it involves finding one corner. So I'm just going to do that. This has blue in it. This has blue in it. This has blue in it. This does not have blue in it. This has red, yellow, and green, which means that all of these three have blue in them, which means that this side can have blue solved on it, since all three false centers there have blue. So now let's make sure we have all the false centers aligned correctly. This can be quite challenging, so I'm just going to explain that. So this is already aligned correctly. since it's these three that have blue. This is not aligned correctly, so let's just twist it. There. Now we have blue here as well. Now we just need this to be blue. We know that the edges can move around anywhere, so that's not a problem just yet. Now even this is aligned. So you should always look for this. It doesn't matter if some of the edges are already solved or not. We will get to that later on. Okay? There. So this is what we're looking for. And sure enough, if you look to the side as well, you're going to see that these match as well. Not necessarily this, but definitely these two, and these two. Why? Because now these false centers are aligned correctly and they can't really change in order. So yeah. Now let's solve these edges. Now this is also not very challenging but can get quite confusing if you lose track of where all the pieces are. So let's just go over it step by step. First, let's solve this, which is a blue and red. This is where blue and red coincide. So we need the piece over here to be blue and red. And let's just search for that. It's not over here. It's not over here. And it's not here. Which means that it has to be somewhere here. This is not it. It's a blue and a yellow. And that can't really go there because this is the red face. This is a red and a green. And this cannot go here because this is a blue face. This is a red and a blue. Blue and a red. And this is exactly what we need for that we need to put here. So to do this, first we need to keep the blue side on top because that's the side we're solving first, and the red side in front of us because that's the coinciding side. And then we keep the blue face of the edge in front of us. Now just ignore this piece. Yeah, I'm just gonna remove it. Hang on. Yeah, now I just didn't want to confuse you, so I removed that. Now this is the piece that we need to get over here. And we shouldn't get it in like this because then it's flipped the other way. We need it to go in the right way as well, like this. But the moment we bring it up over here, this piece is now misaligned. So we move this out of the way, bring this back and bring this down. That fixes it. I'm just gonna show that to you again. There. Now the piece is on the right side. First, I will explain to you what to do if your edge piece is on the right side with blue facing you. Never keep the other side facing you because then the piece will go and flip. So with blue facing you, here's what you do. You use your index, thumb and forefinger to hold one false center and the same fingers on the other hand to hold the other false center. That way you can actually move these two pivots of the cube easily. And here's what you do. Now the piece is on the right side, so you use the right side first. You move the right side clockwise, bringing this piece up. Move the left side anti-clockwise, moving it out of the way. Move the right side anti-clockwise, aligning this. And then move the left side clockwise, fixing this. Now if you want an easier way to remember that, you can just think of it as up, up, down, down. That's it. Now if it's the other way, on the left side, you just do the opposite of what I just did. Not the opposite, the mirror image. You move the left side anti-clockwise, right side clockwise, left side clockwise, and right side anti-clockwise. This too is up, up, down, down, but starting with the left side instead of the right. This way we've solved one edge. Let's move on to the second. Oh, not this. Let's go on to this. Blue and yellow. This piece is over here. And we need it to go here. Now, if it's somewhere else, just search for it and align it such that the blue is over here in front of you. Now, let's just do what we did before. We can see that the blue is on the right side. So we need to start the up, up, down, down on the right side. So up, up, down, down, and that brings it in here. And it's also removed the previous blue and green piece that was there, allowing us to solve it over here. This piece needs to go there. Oh, it's the right side again. Give me a sec. Let's just switch that so that we get some practice on the left side as well. It's on the left side now. So we need to do the up, up, down, down, starting from the left side. Up, up, down, down. Now, for some of you, it might be easier to understand these algorithms with actual cube notations, which is why I've written it over there. Yeah, but for the rest, it's just easier to remember this stuff in terms of up, up, down, down, and all that, which is why I'm going to be teaching you like that. Now, let's just go over some other confusing situations you can encounter while solving this. So in one situation, you can have the piece that you want in the place that you want, but flipped. This way, there's no way to actually put it in using the algorithm that I showed you because it's already there. So what do you do here? Well, first we need to get the piece out of that place, and then we can put it in the right way. And we do this by putting another piece in there, because two pieces cannot be in the same place. So as soon as we put a different piece in there, it will just come out. So let's pretend that this piece needs to go there. And if we put it there, this one will automatically come out. So that needs to go there. It doesn't really matter how we align it because it's the wrong piece. So let's just do the up, up, down, down, up, down, down. That's put this piece over here, which is the wrong piece. But it's done its purpose. It's achieved its purpose because we've removed this piece from there. So good job. Now this piece can go in the right place. It's the red and it's the blue and yellow. Now let's bring it to the right place, right orientation, with blue facing us. It's on the right side. So let's start with the right side. Up, up, down, down. Now it's in the right orientation. This should solve a lot of your problems, even if you have, say, a situation like this, where there's a different blue piece already in the place where you want to keep something. You just put this piece in here and this one will automatically come out. This piece does have to go there, but you can't do that just yet. So just put this in its place. And then this piece is out, so you can put this in here. Now on the other hand, if the two pieces have somehow exchanged positions, then you need to do the first thing that I showed you, but twice. So first we pretend that this piece needs to go in there, and we do the up, up, down, down. That removes this piece. Now we can put this piece where it belongs, which is here, and that will remove this piece, and then we can put that piece where it belongs, if that makes sense. Up, up, down, down. Now this piece is where it needs to be. This piece is not. So let's put it in the right place now. Up, up, down, down. And that's the end of the first layer. And if you think about it, this actually solves most of your problems, since now we only have to orient these three pieces correctly, since this can easily be matched. So let's go into that now. Okay, so the last layer can be quite a bit complicated, so we might have to pay extra attention to that. So the blue side has been solved. So now we can place this side below and do our algorithms with these three sides over here like this. Now for this last layer, we can have three situations. There are three possible situations, all of which have what kind of simple solutions, but it'll take some time to memorize them. So you might want to watch this video multiple times. So the first situation is probably the most simple, I guess. It looks like this, where all the edges are oriented correctly, but they're all in their wrong places, which means that if you align the false centers together properly, the edges are out of place. And if you align the edges properly, then the false center is out of place. Sometimes you can get a situation like this, where only one piece is out of place. That looks pretty deceiving. Don't let it fool you. In reality, this corner is just not aligned properly. Now, it's good to always solve these things with the false centers aligned and the edges out of place. That way we can just focus on the edges more. So here's how you go about this. Since all the edges are basically in the same state, being correctly aligned and being out of place, we can start on any side we want as long as it's not the blue side. So we just go on any side really, and we do this. Basically, use your left hand's thumb, forefinger, and middle finger to hold the cube's left false center like this, with your forefinger being in front. This way it can move upwards very quickly and not downwards. We don't need it to move downwards like this for now. And use your right hand to turn this upside quickly. Now here's what you do. You move the left side anti-clockwise, bringing this piece up. You move the up side clockwise using your forefinger, and then you move the left side clockwise. You move the up side clockwise again, and then you move the left side anti-clockwise, upside clockwise, and then left side clockwise. Now sometimes it won't work because it's moved all of them in the wrong direction. That way you just have to do it one more time because there's only 3 sides to this. So if the pieces were misaligned and they had to go here, they went the other way, you just have to make them go the other way once more. That way they'll be in the right place. So now I'm just going to explain this in a different way. So a different way would be bring the left side up, bring the piece to the side, and then down, side again, up, side, and then down. So that always solves it within 2 repetitions. Sometimes you can get it on the first repetition, sometimes you can get it on the second. I mean, if you really want to increase your speed even more, you can check which way the pieces are oriented and then decide whether to do it with the left hand or the right hand. But I won't go into all that. I want you guys to figure it out yourself. So that's the first situation. Now let's go into the second situation. Okay, so the second situation is kind of my favorite because it's easy to identify and is guaranteed to be solved in 1 repetition. So in this situation, when the blue side is below and the false center is aligned, we have 1 edge that's solved and 2 edges that are in their places but flipped. So as you can see here, this edge has its green side on the red side and red side on the green face, and this edge has its yellow side on the green face and green side on the yellow face. So here's how you solve this. With blue below and the solved edge behind, you hold the cube with your thumbs facing forward. This way you can move both sides down easily. So you do this with both hands, with your 4 fingers on these sides and middle fingers below. So here's what you do. You can start on any side because the situation is perfectly symmetrical. I'm just going to solve on my right side. So here's what you do. You move your right side anti-clockwise, left side clockwise, right side clockwise, and left side anti-clockwise. So now, because I've done it on the right side, the blue piece has ended up on the left side. But if you've started on the left side, you might have your blue piece on the right side. You will have it there. So in this, I'm just going to show you what happens when you use it on the right side, since it's easier to standardize all of these algorithms. Now you have your blue piece here. So here's what we're going to do. And this part can be a bit tricky, so just pay attention. You're going to twist the cube on your left hand. You're going to let go of the right side and hold on to the top like that and move the cube like this. So now you have blue on the blue face over here and your 4 fingers facing forward, which means that the next algorithm is going to involve you moving your hands like this. Does that make sense? You move it from here to there. Now this piece is over here. Here's what you do. You move the right side up clockwise, left side up anti-clockwise, right side down anti-clockwise, and left side down clockwise. That solves it. So that's the second situation. I'm just gonna show it to you once more. So when it's like this, you keep your thumbs in front, you go down, down, up, up, and then you shift, and then you go up, up, down, down. So you can see why this is my favorite. This always solves it, and it's pretty easy to identify. Now let's go on to the third and last situation. So this is the last situation, and immediately you can see why it's my least favorite. It's probably the most tricky. It's easy to identify because it's nothing like the other two, but it's really hard to do because you can't just do it on whatever side you want. There's a specific side you have to do it on, and that side is not easy to find. So you might want to pay attention here. So if you look closely, you'll see that none of the pieces are in their right places, and it seems like none of them are in the right orientation. So let's first take a look at this piece. This is a green and a red piece that's in a green and yellow place. And since only one side is aligned, we know that it's in the wrong orientation. If you bring it to its right place, it's not matching. The next piece we have is a yellow and a green piece. That too is in its wrong place and wrong orientation. The last one is the red and yellow piece, which is in the wrong place, but it's of the right orientation. You will always have one of these three situations. If you don't, that means you probably pulled out one of your edges and switched it and put it back somewhere along. So you might want to undo that. So let's solve this one. So with all the false centers aligned in blue below, here's what you do. You first need to find the right side to do this algorithm. So as you can see, this piece is matched on one side. This piece is also matched on one side, but this piece is not matched on either one of the sides. So it's this piece that's important. Now first let's find this piece. Now we need to go to the opposite side, which means over here, with this piece behind us. This can be quite tricky, so I suggest you take your time while you're practicing it. So go behind this with blue side below, and here's what you do. Now to this, you can't just do it on the right side or left side. There's always a very specific side you have to do it on. Now we see that this piece is aligned on this side, so we must always start with the right side. If this piece was aligned, then we would start on the left side. I'll show that in a minute, but let's start with the right side now, because this is aligned. We go with the thumbs in front as before, and we do the same thing, down, down, up, up. So right side anti-clockwise, left side clockwise, right side clockwise, left side anti-clockwise. That brings the blue here once again. Now we do the same thing as before, but with a slight change. Now instead of bringing your hand like this, we bring our hand like this, which means this time our thumb is where our forefinger was. Do not put this hand also like this. Leave your hand as it was, but this hand must switch. So now this hand can move upwards and this hand can move downwards. Now we do the second part of this algorithm. We move the right side anti-clockwise, left side anti-clockwise, right side clockwise, left side clockwise. That solves it. Now I'll just show that once more. With this unsolved piece behind us, go down, down, up, up, and then we switch like this with the thumb in front, and then we go down, up, up, down. Okay, now let's just do it with the left side. This is the piece that we need to go to the opposite, that we need to put on the opposite side. So we go over here with blue below. Now we can see that the right side is matching. So we need to start with the left side now. So we go left side clockwise, right side anti-clockwise, left side anti-clockwise, right side anti-clockwise. So down, down, up, up. And now we keep the right hand stationary and we twist the left hand while bringing it here. So now we have the thumb in front. Now we move the left side clockwise, right side clockwise, left side anti-clockwise, and right side anti-clockwise. Oh, give me a second. So I'll just go over that again, going opposite like this. So we go here, down, down, up, up, and then we go here, down, up, up, down. Well, congratulations, you solved the Pyraminx. I hope you had fun doing it.